Yes, welcome back to Live at Much. Hanging out here with Finger 11. How you guys doing?
Good, really good.
See, Sean is so far from me, he's going to have to struggle to hear me because these guys are pretty noisy in here. Yeah, keep it up, guys.
Yeah, that's good work.
Now, there's plenty to be noisy about. Paralyzer, most played song on Canadian radio this year.
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive. Very impressive. And here's the thing about it. I'm not only because it's a good song, but also because I'm guessing a lot of the country relates to the sentiment of the song. Okay?
Yeah, that's unfortunate. You know, I mean, it's great. I thought I was alone in that. I thought I was like the only guy that felt that way at a cool club, but...
No, I don't think you are. Because it's funny, I was just at a club the other night, and I'm there, and I'm realizing you kind of brought to light a lot of things. Everyone is there to act cool and be cool.
Yeah.
But really, it is uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, I gave up being cool a while ago. I was like, this is not working out. You know, I'll just be a singer in a band, and that's my own cred. That's enough, right? So that's cool, but when you go to one of those clubs, they're songs you have no idea what they are, and they don't sound good, and I don't know, I hate them.
The irony of it is they actually played Paralyzer.
I know!
That was the irony of the whole thing.
It's like a victory. It's like, I think if that song came on, I'd be like, oh, this is a pretty cool song. I kind of like that. I don't know.
The song's great, doing big things at number 8 on Billboard's Hot 100 in the U.S., which is huge.
Crazy.
Huge.
That's cool. Yeah, sure. Why not?
You guys have had a big hit, some big hits before while recording it. Did you guys know it was a hit?
No, we just knew we liked it. Okay, it was real quick, unanimous. A lot of the stuff we do, it takes a few months for everybody to come around to it, or we have to work on it for everybody to go, okay, we really, really like this. It was pretty immediate. So we thought, okay, let's keep this and see what we can do with it. But, you know, you can't figure out if it's going to be a hit or not. You don't know what... No, we're not that smart.
What about that feeling? What about that feeling? Come on, Rick.
Everyone we shared it with before the record came out it kind of had a special reaction above and beyond the rest of the songs. So you kind of get an excitement, but you never really know. Who knows, you know?
I was wondering the opposite for a band like yourselves. Having written so many songs, I was wondering on previous albums, have you ever had a really good feeling about a song and it hasn't been as well received as you might have thought?
Yeah, well, everything we put on a record we think is genius. You know, you never know, but yeah, there were a few songs. I thought there's a song called "Stay in Shadow," which you don't know it, but it's a good.
Yeah, no, I do know. I understand Shadow. I understand Shadow.
We wrote that at the same time as One Thing, and we went away and we thought we were coming back. We were like, oh wait, when they hear "Stay in Shadow," they're gonna flip.
Yeah, we
and
thought
everyone just kind of heard One Thing, was like, wow, that's the one. We didn't really see it, you know.
Speaking of One Thing, I find like a big hit kind of puts a band in a precarious situation because the band always wants to have another great song. The label always wants to have another great song, but there's no real formula to it. So I'm guessing it caused some stress in terms of figuring out how to get there again. And after you guys had the success of One Thing, your last album, I'm wondering what the experience was like recording this album.
The pressure is always within the band because you're out to please yourself and the rest of the guys. It's a democratic process, or process. I guess process.
Okay.
If you're Canadian, you say process. I said process the other day in L.A. and they ribbed me for it forever. So I'm going to say process. Screw it. I'm going to keep it real.
Yeah, keep it real. We're Canadian, right?
So as long as it gets through, as long as we end up pleasing ourselves, then we kind of figure that we're just indestructible that way.
Really? The external pressure? Come on, the external pressure doesn't get to you guys at all?
No, the only pressure that was ever put on us is like, well, keep going. You got some pretty nifty tunes there, kiddo, but keep writing. You know, that was the pressure. You know, but that's it.
Sean, is that frustrating?
You know what? I was sort of kind of watching. I was enjoying the interview.
I caught you off guard there.
You're on the television. These cameras actually beam out, and it's a signal, right? People are watching this.
You know what? No, the only frustrating thing was that it took us a while to make that record. And truth be told, I think I don't see that pattern breaking anytime soon, unfortunately, but.
Well, it's a nice way of saying that we're really lazy, you know?
No. Well, I wouldn't call you guys lazy. You wrote 100 songs, and why was the band this time so willing? You always experiment a little bit, but it seems like this time you were like, let's do whatever. Why was the band so willing to experiment and explore so many different styles and sounds this time around?
I think maybe because of One Thing, it opened a lot of doors for us. You know, it was a sound of the band that was never really received before or made public. You know, we always had sort of a softer side to some of our records, but that was the first time one of those songs actually made us a little bit more popular than we were before. So this time when it went to writing, like we felt like people were willing to receive anything from us, you know, both sides, and we tried to push everything in between the both sides. So the writing became very experimental during this.
What about yourself? Do you guys find yourselves in between the hard and the soft?
Oh,
at
yeah,
this point in
all
life?
the time, constantly. Yep, you can't, because as soon as you decide you're only going to like punk rock or metal, you're limiting yourself to, you know, a whole bunch of stuff that you could benefit from.
But here's the thing, though. I'm guessing you guys listen to genres outside of rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you guys find yourselves not only confined by what a rock band should do sometimes, but confined by what Finger Eleven fans might expect from you guys.
I think we're bad at that. I think we're bad at disregarding all that and starting again for every record.
But we're very earnest in the idea we try to deliver quality in our songs.
Okay.
So whatever they happen to be, they might not be what they were the last record or the record before that, but the quality and the obsessiveness has always remained the only sort of constant, you know.
Okay. One of the songs I particularly liked on the album was Talking to the Wall. And I was wondering if you could... Yeah.
That guy likes it.
I remember that. I'm not... Hooray! And you'll be playing that tonight, but I'm wondering if you could describe, first of all, what that song maybe means to you, Rich.
It's funny. Lyrically, I don't know what half our songs mean. To be honest, I never. You know what? I think that's kind of, you know, I like doing that. I like to interpret things in my own way.
So go ahead.
Yeah. Well, it's the first song we wrote for this record, and it definitely had many different variations. Like we tried to. I think we worked on like 7 different versions of that song. So it was kind of a special song that actually made the record because. I mean, way back when we started a year into, you know, when we first started writing these songs, usually those songs don't make records. You know, it's usually the batch at the end. Those are usually the best, and that's why it takes a year to make records.
Okay.
So,
I mean, that song had the killer chorus from day one, and then took us about a year to write a good verse and bridge.
Yeah, but what do you think it means, Rich?
stop
Yeah,
it,
Rich
James.
avoided that one. Rich did avoid that one. I was waiting to go back.
I'm a pro. I didn't think I'd get caught.
That was like
Politician his way out of that.
That was like the Matrix move, okay? From the video. Scott, what does it mean? Because I interpret it to be about being emotionally guarded.
Yeah, well, okay, the cool thing is I got to work backwards. James had come to me with a couple words, the chorus. And I got to reverse engineer the verse and interpret what he was talking about. And, you know, for me, I just romanticized my own emotions of being, you know, a little bit lost and confused. That's pretty much it, you know?
Lots confused about?
The whole situation, you know? I mean, just whatever the particular moment in time I find myself at, is like, is this where I want to be? What's going on? You know, those thoughts that are like those late-night singular thoughts, those thoughts that, you know, sometimes creep up on a paper that, you know, that are, you got to make those interesting. Otherwise, you know, if you don't exercise them, they come out in strange ways.
Because the thing about it is, I find like men, you know, there's that whole facade of masculinity, and I do find at times I'm emotionally guarded, and I'm wondering for you guys, you find yourselves as musicians, because musicians are often rewarded for being emotional.
Right.
But yet do you find yourselves to be emotionally guarded in some sense?
Yeah, yeah. You get to get all those emotions out when you make music. You express all that stuff. So in real life, it gets a little strange because you feel like you don't have to.
Yeah,
Okay.
I suppose so, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that definitely does make sense. But does that impact the band at all? Because obviously 5 guys together being for so long, if you don't feel you have to express emotions within the band.
Right, yeah, it gets weird, right?
Yeah, how does that work out?
You know, we don't care as long as the song is good. That's the main thing. You know, the emotions, we'll sort ourselves out later.
Okay.
You know? I don't know. We argue a lot, but in the studio, it's usually creative arguing. But we've figured out how to live together and survive together for 15 years. I'm sure we can do it for
Has there ever
15
been
more.
a punch thrown or anything
No.
like that? And even a shake?
Never a
Come on.
punch.
Bus
Never a
walls
punch.
have been punched out.
Okay.
You know, furniture's been thrown out of the bus. You know, frustrations have been taken
There was one
out.
time where punches were thrown, but the elevator door was closing, so it was actually
Yeah,
really
that was a
funny.
good
It
one.
Yeah, Sean threw the first punch, right? Sean,
Just a
did you?
fist coming through this closing door.
After
Yeah,
a
but-
long van ride, these guys get in the elevator, go to their rooms. It's like, oh, just hold the door. Nope, sorry, buddy. Door's just like, oh.
You got to stay on mic,
And
kiddo.
I thought I was going to stop the.
You got to stay on mic.
Okay.
You gotta watch out for this guy.